Alright everyone, so whenever you're riding around out in the twisties, if you need to downshift or you want to downshift for the corner, the general idea is to do all your downshifting before you actually start to lean the bike, okay? But for some reason, if you make a mistake and you have to downshift in the corner, there's no real problem with that. The only thing that really matters is how you do it. You're not just letting go of the clutch and dumping the clutch. As long as you're smooth and not being abrupt on the controls, you're fine. All right, let's say for this next corner up here, this right, I want to downshift to third. So I roll off the throttle to 0%, pulling the clutch downshift, and I start to ease the clutch out. And generally you want to have the clutch all the way out completely before you start to lean, so you get all that good engine braking to help slow you down as well. So in fourth gear, again for this corner up here, I'm going to downshift to third. So roll off the throttle, use the brakes if you need to, pulling the clutch, downshift, ease the clutch out, all the engine brake will help slow you down. Clutch is completely released, and then you tip the bike in and go through the corner. But if you're in the middle of the corner and you realize, oh, I'm in the wrong gear, I'm in too tall of a gear, I have to downshift mid-turn, is that okay to do? Well, sure. It all depends on how you do it. Roll off the throttle in the middle of the corner, pull the clutch downshift, ease the clutch out, no big deal. So you can. It usually just means if you have to downshift in the middle of the corner or upshift, if you have to shift mid-turn, then it usually means you kind of messed something up. Either your timing was off, you misjudged your speed. Generally, normally, like right now, pull the clutch, downshift to third, you ease the clutch out, get that engine braking to help slow you down before the corner. That's 90% of the time. As long as what you are doing isn't jerky or abrupt. So you're not doing this, right? You're not just letting go of the clutch, you're not stomping down on the shift lever, and you're actually rolling off the throttle to do your shifting, to kind of ease back into it. You're not doing anything. See, you can make this very, very bad very quickly by just being erratic and abrupt. But if you're smooth on and off the throttle, on and off the brakes, pulling in the clutch, easing out the clutch, if you're smooth with all that stuff, there's no real problem if you shift mid-turn. If you find yourself in that situation, don't be afraid to shift mid-turn, and I would highly recommend you go practice like I'm doing right now. Just do it. See what happens, right? So you roll off the throttle 0%, pulling the clutch, downshift to third, ease out the clutch. Right? As you ease out the clutch, you're feeding the bike engine braking, right? So there's a point where you're pulling the clutch, nothing's happening, you're not slowing down, the engine's not doing anything. But as you go into the friction zone, that's the point where if you just let go, it could become very abrupt. But if you ease out the clutch, no problem. So go out on an easy road like this at a very easy speed and practice shifting mid-turn just to see what it feels like. Of course, if you're going to the left and your left foot is there, just be careful not to scrape your boot on the ground or anything, because that could get sketchy very quickly. But if you have to brake mid-turn, no big deal.